4 in a row. Cleveland 4 starts 7 and 6, and it is Cleveland in second place, tied with Baltimore right now. And from Richfield, we invite you to join us for the singing of our national anthem. Say, can you see?
Rebound, child. That's also wide. Chested down by Bernie James. Right to Chris Vaccaro, who won 16 games for this team last year. On the left side, Kazumani, the Rookie of the Year a season ago, to Chapman. And he cuts to the middle. O'Hara on him. Brings it back near side. Sends it back the other way. Bernie James, a premier shot blocker in the MISL. Back to Vaccaro. We're just underway in Cleveland. Richfield, to be more precise. 14:15 to go first quarter. It is scoreless between two of the very best rivals in the MISL.
Surely this is one of the great rivalries. If you look back over recent games, they've all been very, very close, and 6-5 is a great number. Look at the move there.
I don't know if I could have described that one on the radio. That's a television move. Chapman gives it to Kazumani. Off the boards wants Carl Valentine. Shoots it high and wide. Ingram settling it, but in the box, and McKenzie heads it out. James to Dennis Meffam. Still scoreless. It's played to Valentine, the newest member of the force.
I talk about those defenders. Meffam is 6'1". James is 6 feet even, so they're big defenders.
Chapman wants the turn. Is dumped in the box. No foul call. It's played to the near side. Godfrey Ingram blocked. He had one goal last night for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh had a lot of goals last night. Normally when you get 7, you win. 9 times out of 10 you win, but not when you give up 8.
Well, the Force scored 8 in beating Chicago 8-2 on the road last night. They're 3-3 on the road, 4-3 in this building. The Spirit 0-6 on the road this season. 0-11 if you go back to last year. And you have to wonder what the return of Stan Telecki will do to this team. And obviously offensively it's going to help, but you wonder about the change, the Stan coming back, how it will affect the players. We'll see as the game goes along.
Off the boards, Kazumani coming back for the Force, playing without Kai Haskevy, who has missed the last 7 games with an injury. Haskevy has a pulled hamstring. Pittsburgh without Topolsky and Tuchia with some groin problems. Chapman in the box, can't turn. Dudek had his arms around him and it's knocked into the seats out of play. With his break in the action, no score from Richfield, and you're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. Back at Richfield, John Paul Della Camera with John Sanders. It's scoreless as Mike Sweeney sends it upstairs right off the free kick. Takes away the meaning, sort of a free kick, and it's going to be Pittsburgh's ball on the goal kick coming up. We've still yet to see Stan Telecki. Marcio Leite is on with Dave Hagen and Nicky Klincharski, Kevin Marr, and Helmut Dudek. And as Don Popovic told us before the game, Telecki will see a lot of action. He will play regular.
JP, you touched on how close the games have been between these two teams. If you take the last 15 games, for example, between Cleveland and Pittsburgh, 11 of them have been decided by 1 goal, and 6 of the last 11 have gone into overtime. It's been that kind of rivalry. It's very even.
Not a lot of blowouts in this series. The games have been very close, as Helmut Dudek had a big night last night. 3 goals and 2 assists. Lays it off Leite to Hagen. Reverse to Helmut. Number 4 for the Spirit, cutting to the right. It's blocked by Sweeney, and back it comes. Hagen after it. He's got a 4-game scoring streak going tonight.
I think last night, JP, might have been the first time this year we've really seen the cannon of a shot that Helmut Dudek has. I mean, he blasted a couple. Lettieri did not even see one of them.
Craig Allen wanted to get a break there. He had 3 goals last night against Chicago. Peter Ward sends it to Sweeney. Hagen blocking it. Blocked again by Dargle, and Sweeney turns it back inside the line. Open man on the far side was Ward. He does not get a good pass. Knocked away by Hagen. For Leite. Over midfield comes Marcia right in front of the Force bench, taken away by Peter Ward, and the Force are back with it. It's scoreless. 11:38 to go. Still in the opening quarter from Richfield. Lead pass, Peter Ward. Dudek defending on him. Both players going down, and now foul is called on Pittsburgh. It is the Spirit first foul, and the first foul of the quarter on either side is Peter Ward. Moves it on the free kick. It was partially blocked, and Dudek will get it. For Leite, blocked by Benny Dargle, and it goes out of play.
So off Cleveland, a good job at this point in the ball game by Cleveland of forechecking, keeping the ball primarily from the Pittsburgh side of midfield into the Pittsburgh goal. That puts them in an offensive mode at all times, and they've done a good job of that so far. There's their coach, Timo Liakowski. In his 4th season, he really turned the program around here in Cleveland.
He's done a great job. And let the record show that Stan Telecki enters the field at 11:24 of the opening quarter with the score. Pittsburgh nothing, Cleveland nothing. Telecki out there with Civvies, who has the ball there.
And you'll remember him. He wore number 13 before. Yeah, he's still wearing number 13.
You think maybe they saved it just in case? Cap on the left side for O'Hara. Now for Civvies. Foul zone, the midfielder on this line. Civvies will play second forward role and Telecki up front. John O'Hara with it. Spirit captain moves it to foul zone. Quickly knocked up by Andy Chapman. And now back the other way comes Dennis Mepham. Telecki coming way back to defend. On the left side, Casamani. Blocked by foul zone. Mepham works it to the inside. O'Hara got a piece. Not enough. Valentine is shot, but it's right at David Bursich, who looks long for Telecki off the boards. Stan and Bernie James collide. Stan wants a foul, and they do call an obstruction on Bernie James, so Stan showed that he still has some speed. The one thing that Stan will not be tonight, and he still could score some goals tonight, he will not be match fit. You only get that when you play a certain amount of games, and for certain players it is different. But Telecki has always kept himself in good shape, and Don Popovic was pleased at the way Stan has kept himself in fine shape, considering he has not really been playing any competitive kind of soccer.
And remind you again, you'll be hearing from Stan Telecki during our halftime.
Up the field now on the right side, Valentine in a scoreless tie. Knocked back for Dennis Mepham. Left wing, Andy Chapman to Valentine. Right side, Casamani. Valentine with it. Now to Chapman. Cleveland stringing along 5 passes right there, but not penetrating yet. Chapman now knocks it back, but it's to Telecki. Stan getting some support from the speedy foul zone on the left. Hits him. Foul zone back for Telecki. It's behind him. Stan will start back. Takes it, blocked by Casamani. He'll get it back. Casamani starting to go to the near side for Chapman. Cap was just on, replaced by Dave McKenzie, and Casamani works control with it. 9:44 to go, first quarter, and neither team has even had a sniff at a good goal-scoring opportunity up to this point as James brings it in. To the right wing, marked by Kapka, who's now on. Ingram and Child are on as well for Pittsburgh. Ingram doesn't get enough of it. James sends it in, but right back to Godfrey. Put it between the legs of Sweeney, but Cleveland gets it back.
Godfrey so far really has not been able to clear the ball out of his own zone very well, out of that penalty arc in front of the box area. He just has not been able to clear it away. Each time he's tried, it's been picked off. Now he comes up with it.
Now let's see what he does. He sprints over the midfield line. Now joined by Kapka. Good run by Z. He gets the pass. Lost it off the end of his foot. He'll battle for it along the boards. Cleveland will win it up the right side for Sweeney. Sweeney and McKenzie, two very aggressive players, shoulder to shoulder. Sweeney, good control. A long one up for Craig Allen. Lost it. Craig Allen is a spirit killer. Many a time he's put that ball in the back of a spirit goal as Ingram sends it left for Child. Paul Child along that side.
Because Allen's killed a few other people, too. He's got 16 goals already this season.
Ingram looking, but it's broken up, and Cleveland will get it back for Benny Dargle.
Both teams at this point in the game, JP, and we're not quite halfway through the first quarter, seem really content to play primarily at midfield. There has not been a lot of good offensive surges at either end.
No, it's not wide open. They're playing cautious as Peter Ward makes a nice move, and look out, but Bursich makes the big save. First big save of the night. Dudek with a header, Sweeney again. Foul, and they're going to call it on Pittsburgh. But Bursich was tested for the first time, and he made the save.
He did. He'll just get a piece of it. You see that Dudek went down. There's the shot. He got a hand on it, then it hit the crossbar and did not go in.
And as we come back to the action, it's cleared out the other way. Chris Vaccaro up into his own side of the neutral zone for Benny Dargle. Blocked by Godfrey Ingram. Far side, Raduca heading it back. The other way by Kapka. Look out. 3 players going upward. Godfrey comes away with it. Ingram into the attack zone. Cutting by the penalty arc. Broken up by the force. And Ward and Sweeney come back with Allen.
Good play by Benny Dargle to tackle that ball away that time.
Allen to Peter Ward, who almost scored seconds ago. Ward cuts to the same move. A shot. Nice save. David Bursich when the ball looked like it was going behind him.
It did look like it was behind him. He was able to reach back and get it.
Paul Child with it. Putting it into some open space. Helmut Dudek after it. Dudek wants to crank with the left foot. Blocked by Vaccaro, but it goes in. Pittsburgh takes a 1-0 lead as Helmut Dudek sends a rocket with some spin by Chris Vaccaro, and the Spirits strike first.
Well, you saw the rocket shot of Dudek. He took a ball that was set up for him by Paul Child. It comes exactly halfway through the opening quarter of play. What a shot he's got when he really cranks it up. We saw it last night in Pittsburgh for the first time. We see it again tonight. He takes the ball from Child, rips it with the left foot, and he scores to put Pittsburgh on top at the 7:30 mark. Our broadcast, we will do the disclaimer when we come back. You're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
Child at 7:30.
This broadcast is intended for the private use of our viewing audience. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Civic Arena Corporation and the Pittsburgh Spirit is prohibited. That's the disclaimer. And they'd like to disclaim on the Cleveland bench the fact that they gave up the early goal. Dudek gets it, the assist to Child for helmet, his 6th goal of the season. And Paul Child picks up the assist, his 21st point, 9th assist of the year. JP?
It is Cleveland now with the ball, trailing 1-0. Kazimani against Klincharsky. Wheels right. Kazimani fires a shot blocked by Klincharsky, and it goes out of play. And it will set up a free kick for the Cleveland Force.
And if you've watched the Spirit before and listened to John Paul on radio, you've heard him say many times, you can never count anybody out. And if there was ever a good example of that, it had to be last night. The Spirit up 5-1. Several times had 3-goal leads, even late in the second half, and couldn't hang on to it. Wound up losing the game.
Hopefully they learned a lesson from that. O'Hara knocking it back to Bursic. And Pittsburgh gets out of a potential problem because Andy Chapman was wide open for a brief moment. Bursic, long ball for Leite, blocked by Bernie James. James after it.
Marcio Leite had a sparkling game last night. He scored a goal, played very well, played a lot. He had one of the longest shifts I've ever seen Marcio take in the first start of the overtime period last night.
Chapman to Kazimani, and the nice give. Knocked away by Earhart Cap, and they're going to call a foul on Cap. He got the ball. And that's what he's complaining about. But they will call it nonetheless. That's the 3rd foul on Pittsburgh.
You can see him go for the ball, and he gets the ball. That's the complaint. Of course, he later got a piece of the man, and that was the call.
Kazimani off the boards, loose, a hit off Chapman, and they're going to call a handball on Andy Chapman. So that's a foul on Cleveland, and only their 2nd. Spirit are leading at 1-0 with 6:40 to go as we look at Andy Chapman. Had a big year last year when he came over to this club. Totaled 26 goals, but he had a majority of those with the Cleveland Force. And was a major factor, not only during their regular season stretch drive, but also in their playoffs.
I want you to think that Stan Telecki's return was a total surprise to the members of this team. Maybe the fact that he came back on the way to Cleveland was a surprise, but there had been considerable talk about it. As a matter of fact, a deal had been in the works until about early in this week. And then Stan said, he's definitely going back to Poland. Something happened, and Stan called the team on Friday morning and said, listen, I've decided not to go. Let's talk again. The details of a new contract, or the remaining 2 years of the contract, had already been pretty well ironed out. All that needed to be settled were some minor details. That took place about noontime today, and it became official. But it was obvious that Stan Telecki was back.
And he's not out there at this moment, but he's due to come on because he will be playing a regular shift. And we see Charlie Falzone out there as Pittsburgh is trying to change on the fly. They lead 1-0 on a Helmut Dudek scores. Bursic goes long for Leite. Bernie James muscling him along the boards.
And you see Bernie James using his size at 6 feet against Marcio Leite. It's simply a mismatch body-wise.
Cleveland working with it. Far side, Valentine double team. Pittsburgh with 4 fouls. Valentine, nice move. It's blocked in front of his own player. Sibby's up for Telecki right in front of Don Popovic. Stan's coach from a previous term with Golden Bay Outdoors in the NASL. And that foul is on the Force. You can tell by the chanting of the crowd. We have the Pittsburgh Spirit Booster Club here, but I think they're going to be drowned out as loudly as they cheer. They won't match what's in this building.
As far up as they are in the corner, you won't be able to hear much from them anyway, no matter what happens. They're way up there.
Craig Allen gives it off to Peter Ward. Back for Allen.
This place
with him. Bursic missing it and then got a piece of the end. Look out. Right side, Allen again. Off the boards, bouncing, and Cap gingerly plays it back to David Bursic.
This place holds over 17,000 for soccer, and they're averaging 10,660 per game.
That was a hockey hip check that wasn't called. Peter Ward the other way. Allen cutting inside, takes the shot, not enough on it, and David Bursic is right there. Still a 1-0 Spirit lead with 4:55 to go in the first quarter. It's played to Telecki. Benny Dargle on him. Force are going to be watching Stan as closely as they can tonight. They don't care if he hasn't played in a while. They'll watch him. Sweeney over on those far boards. Knocks it to Raduca. Back for Vaccaro. Cleveland a little bit sloppy in their own end. But they get away with it as Sweeney brings it up the field for Allen. Tied up by Dudek and Sibbies. Knocked away. Now it is Dudek. Leading it for Telecki. Dargle against it. Stan and his team leading 1-0 in Telecki's first game back. Played out to Dave McKenzie. Back outside the penalty arc to Dudek. He cranks it again. Blocked by Sweeney. Knocked down by Dargle. McKenzie is after it. Mack trying to send it back to Kapka, which he does. Z up for Sibbies. Knocked away and I do mean away, by Raduca. It goes upstairs. With his break, it is Pittsburgh 1, Cleveland nothing, and you're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. Welcome back to the Richfield Coliseum. John Paul Della Camera with John Sanders, and with a 1-0 Pittsburgh Spirit lead as Dave McKenzie will put it in play. Feeds it to Helmut Dudek, who has the only goal of the night thus far, to Kapka. Z in the corner made a great pass last night to Godfrey Ingram to give the Spirit what looked like a big goal. But I wonder which goals were big last night at the end. Kapka up the right side.
Well, the 8th one was big, wasn't it?
Yes, the biggest. Telecki was bothered there along the boards by Bernie James, and Vaquero makes one way. Makes an awkward throw, to say the least, to Bernie James. Now back to Vaquero. Telecki trying to put some pressure on. Back over to Bernie James. James looking long. Kazimani can't get there, and David Bursic just simply comes up with it with 3:28 to go. In this, the opening quarter, the Spirit are leading 1-0. Kevin Marr played for the first time last night this season. Picked up an assist in for his second straight game. Tuksha and Topolsky both out with groin problems. Ball played up for Kapka, and a Dennis Mepham foul makes it 4 on Cleveland, 4 on Pittsburgh. Spirit are up 1-0 as O'Hara sends it left to Kevin Marr, former MISL Rookie of the Year, up for Godfrey Ingram to Telecki. Godfrey Ingram and Telecki teammates at Golden Bay a couple years back. The give and go doesn't work because Bernie James read it and blocked it. Mepham getting by Kapka off the boards for Valentine. Now Mepham breaks into open space, but O'Hara will intercept it off the boards. Back upfield for Telecki, trying to play it back for Kapka. It's off the mark. They let Valentine get it. Off the boards, Chapman turns around. The shot, though, is blocked. O'Hara apparently got a piece of it. Johnny has blocked 17 shots in his last 4 games, which is an incredible stat. 32 block shots in all as we look at Johnny taking a breather.
You can see Chapman turning and also Valentine coming in, but the right foot of John O'Hara gets there as well, and the ball is up and out of play. It's still 1-0, the Spirit leading.
Free kick for the Force, and Mike Sweeney will be taking it from the far boards. Paul Child is now on with Dave Hagen and Nicky Klinczarski. Marr and O'Hara stay out there. It's played into the box. Allen wants to turn. O'Hara's got him partially tied up. Rebounded to Ward, who shot it high and wide. Now it's Sweeney, a crank, but it goes wide. Klinczarski after it. Raduca knocks it in, but it's Kevin Marr knocking it back out. Benny Dargel at the midfield line. Up for Peter Ward. Game starting to open up a wee bit. Ward with a shot, but it's right at David Bursic. Bursic has sat out the last couple of games in favor of Joe Papaleo. David's last action was against Chicago on the road as Hagen brings it back. Hagen on a 4-game scoring streak. To Erhard Kapp. He sends it into the box, deflected once. Hagen sends it back, but it goes into the seats, out of play. And it is last touch, they say, by Cleveland. So Pittsburgh will have a free kick. A set piece coming up. We'll see what they do with it. Erhard Kapp will be the one taking it from the boards on the near side.
Spirit lead the all-time series 15-14. So talk about closeness. It's been that way from day one between these two teams.
O'Hara up the right side for Hagen. The two teams have met only once this year in the Spirit home opener, and the Spirit won that. Hagen, right point area. John O'Hara in a few strides, faking a shot.
And of course, the score, as always, was 6-5.
That's a very familiar score. Nicky Klinczarski, nice couple of moves. Deeks to the outside. Still with it. Plays it in the box for Child. Knocked out, but Klinczarski gets it again. Cranked it. How would you like to block it like that?
Stunned Benny Dargel.
What hit me? This is Hagen. Still in possession for Pittsburgh. Dargel still trying to blink and get his eyes focused again. Hagen still with it. Marked up by Sweeney. Child makes a nice move at the last second. Great flick, but it's stopped by Vaccaro, who got his fingertips on it. Hagen with a great play, though, as he just saw Child. That's the timing part of the Pittsburgh Spirit and how indoor soccer can work. Craig Allen to Mike Sweeney. It's still a 1-0 Spirit lead with a minute 12 left in the first quarter. Peter Ward plays it in deep. O'Hara got a piece, not enough. Craig Allen with it. Left wing, Bernie James has Sweeney open. Foul zone trying to cut that gap off. Now Kapp steps into it, blocks that, but Ward is there. Kapp with the second effort, and Erhard comes away from traffic. Now gets back into some with Craig Allen there, but makes a nice move back to David Bursic.
Good bit of ball handling and dribbling that time by Erhard Kapp, deep in his own zone, able to keep it away and set up the offense once again.
Charlie Falzone up for Paul Child. Child sending it back to Erhard Kapp, who brings it upfield. Now Child is open, about 45 feet out. Takes it to the middle, looking in front off the boards for Falzone. Takes a bad bounce for Charlie. Child will follow it in deep. Sends it in off the boards. It's a loose ball. Vaccaro couldn't handle it. Sibby's off the boards for Child. Back towards Sibby's, looking for Falzone, but Sweeney steps in front of him. Foul zone. And now McKenzie will come up with it.
Oh, great tackle by Dave McKenzie.
He wins that ball, or else it could have been a break for Cleveland. Mack the other way. Holding it, looking. Sibby's after, but James made a nice block and then gave Sibby's a little extra.
James hammered him, he did.
That should have been the 5th foul on Cleveland. Cleveland with it, but the horn sounds, so Pittsburgh will have a lead at the end of 1. Looking good. Pittsburgh Spirit 1, Cleveland Force nothing at the end of 1, and you're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
The Force outshot the Pittsburgh Spirit 9-5 in the first 15 minutes of play, but on the scoreboard it's the Spirit 1, the Force nothing, and we are starting to see the driving shot of Helmut Dudek, and that's what we saw halfway through this initial quarter of play. Dudek had taken a ball from Paul Child, drives it here, it catches the corner, and he got a great bounce, JP. It kicked into the right-hand corner of the net, and Dudek picking up his 6th of the year. Paul Child got the assist, 1-0 the score. Later, the Spirit had another golden opportunity to make it 2-0.
Oh, Dave Hagen sees Child making his break, and look at that. Vaccaro just got his left hand on it, then it hits a little bit over the crossbar and out. Otherwise, Pittsburgh would have had a 2-0 lead. In our second quarter, Ray Barisco is our Giant Eagle goal-getter contestant. He has chosen John O'Hara, and this is worth $200. Our first person, Dave Killian, will win gift certificates from Armor Meats. And here to call the second quarter play-by-play, we go to John Sanders as we look at Benny Dargle getting a facial shot.
But you know Benny's all right, and he'll be out there as the Force kick off to start the second 15 minutes of play. Dennis Mepham is number 3. Marcio Leite trying to get in the middle of things. The Force bring it all the way back to their goalkeeper, Vaccaro. James is on defense. Peter Ward is out there, Alex Casamani is out there as well. We have the last 2 MISL Rookies of the Year in action here tonight, from Kevin Marr and Ali Casamani. Casamani from Iran. McKenzie, along with Dudek right now. The pressure comes from Andy Chapman to McKenzie. Looking for Kapka near midfield. Z brings it back to Dudek. We've played 30 seconds of the second quarter. 1-0, the Spirit leading the Force. That time James takes the legs of Marcio Leite out from under, and that'll be the first foul of the second quarter of play. 6 fouls, and it's a 2-minute bench penalty. 1-0 our score. Dudek with the game's only goal. Helmut had 5 points last night, 3 goals and 2 assists. Godfrey Ingram had a goal last night. Working against Mepham and Chapman. Still controlling. Drives one. Knocked down by Vaccaro. Leite looking for the rebound. Tries to settle. Goes back to McKenzie. Chipping ahead to Leite. He couldn't get enough foot on it. It's picked off easily by Vaccaro. Quickly ahead now to Dennis Mepham. He's got some room down the left side. He'll drive one. Almost got between the boards and the leg of David Bursic. It's picked up by Casamani. He settles just outside the arc area. Now moves to his right. Still has not taken a shot. Drive off the glass, comes back in front. There's the shot knocked away by Bursic. Casamani took the shot that time, picking up the rebound of Bernie James, and now Bursic will set it up. 13 minutes and 38 seconds left first half.
It's interesting to watch David Bursic when players set up for a screen. He's so tall, he's got to get down lower than most people just to see where those shots are coming from.
3-on-2, a little bit of room. There's the shot, deflected in front by Vaccaro, who gets it back that time from Casamani. Leite all over him from behind, but no call. The fans want a call. Marcio was just trying to regain his balance.
Marcio was just trying to get out of there. He didn't do anything intentional at all.
Casamani now will move to midfield. Stan Telecki is on, playing right now with Hagen. Z Kapka is still out there. Z will be looking for a change. Earhart Cap, Kevin Marr, the defenders. Dennis Mepham has the ball. Sweeney comes on. He'll take over. As a little changing on the fly on both sides now. With it is Joe Raduca. Telecki takes it away from him. Here comes Stan. It's a 2-on-2 with Raduca following. Also Hagen trailing. Stan Telecki moving right. Sweeney takes it away from him. He's got Peter Ward running with him, and down ahead you've got Craig Allen. Here's Ward, chips it too high. Settles, tries to go back, and Sweeney will take over. Sweeney wearing a bandage on his left hand. Hagen to Telecki, and can't clear it out. Still the Force controlling. Sweeney with a drive, bounced off, and Cap picks it up to Kapka. Chipping it for Hagen. Header toward Telecki is broken up by Raduca, and Ward settles for Cleveland. Back come the Force. Ward looking for Allen. Out of play it goes. 12:09 left in the first half. Spirit leading the Force 1-0 as once again Klinczarski has come on.
We saw Telecki before lose the ball, and Sweeney came back the other way. But the good thing about Stan, even though some of you may have been hoping they would have passed the ball in that situation, Pittsburgh has desperately needed somebody who is willing to go in and shoot the ball and take responsibility. They have not had that this year, and Stan brings that back to the club.
Sweeney works it inside. Now, Dargle comes up to help, and the force control right in front. Sweeney turns. Bursich is there. And David knocks it away. Telecki will pick it off. One man back is Raduca. He's got Klincharski on his left. He goes to him. Mickey with a shot. And it's saved up into the crowd. 11:45 in the first half. Spirit won 4-0 on Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. A Saturday night in chilly Richfield, Ohio, a suburb of Cleveland, Richfield Coliseum. Spirit getting set for a corner kick, as we said, averaging 10,660 fans per game here. Of course, certainly one of the better franchises in the MISL. They've done a great job, especially the last 3 or 4 years. Cities will key the play in the corner. Telecki with a drive, knocked in front by Vaquero, cleared out of there by Casamani. But O'Hara keeps it alive. And Sibby's now trying to take charge. Charlie Falzone. Gets it back from Telecki. 1-0, the Spirit leading. The only goal in the game scored in the first quarter by Helmut Dudek of the Spirit. Now Telecki. Mepham comes up from behind and finally takes over. No place to go, though, for Dennis. He's double-teamed in the corner. Now he backheels it out to Bernie James. Foul zone, Telecki. Finally, Mepham is able to get it ahead to his goalkeeper. And Vaquero clears it ahead. Headed away by O'Hara, but right to Valentine, with Chapman running in front. McKenzie tackles it away. A battle along the near board. Casamani with it. To Valentine. Running into the left corner off the boards, looking for a rebound there is Chapman. Casamani will settle for Cleveland. 10 minutes, 40 seconds left. First half, it's 1-0 Spirit. Here's James with some space against foul zone. Goes in the middle to Valentine. Valentine turning against O'Hara. Can't get off a good shot as John O'Hara was all over him. Now O'Hara goes down, and the foul will go against the Cleveland force.
Andy Chapman a little bit too aggressive in the corner. O'Hara's made the nice play. That could have been a little bit more than just a foul, as O'Hara got pushed over by the boards. We saw before when Telecki was out there that Pittsburgh, even though they did not score, came up with 2 good scoring opportunities, and Cleveland respecting him. Also, Stan starting to use the ball a little bit more, faking a little bit more, maybe feeling a little bit more confident out there. It's a different feeling to come back out there, especially when everybody thought you were coming, then you weren't coming, and just the way the whole scenario has gone this year. It's been like a soap opera.
Ingram dribbling, finally going back to O'Hara. The Child. Paul tries to settle. Now goes back to Godfrey Ingram. 10 minutes exactly left in the first half. Child against James. And Bernie will take over. Just flips him out of the way. He's big and strong. The call goes against Godfrey Ingram. First foul in the second quarter against the Spirit. 2-1. The foul situation. Cleveland 2, Pittsburgh 1. It's 1-0 Spirit on the scoreboard. We're at Richfield Coliseum outside Cleveland. O'Hara and Chapman battle. Kicks out of play. The force will make a change. The Spirit not at this point. They will change defenders, though, as O'Hara and McKenzie head over to the bench. And we'll see Helmut Dudek and Kevin Marr coming on. Sweeney back out along with Benny Dargle. And on the far side, it's Joe Raduca. The forward line. Allen on defense, along with Peter Ward right now. This is Allen. Not on defense, as a forward is Allen. Here is Sweeney to Ward to Allen off the board. There's a follow shot that goes up and out of play at 9:33 left in the second quarter. 1-0, Spirit leading the force.
You missed out on some of the action last night in the MISL. Cleveland 8-2 over Chicago. That Minnesota big win over Pittsburgh 8-7 in overtime. Wichita continues to shine in the West, beating Tacoma 4-2 in Dallas. Look out for Dallas this year. They're doing well. They beat LA 6-4, so it really tightens up that MISL Eastern Division.
Sweeney back against Kapka as he takes a shot, misses the far post. Dargle against Godfrey Ingram. Ingram wins the ball. Goes back to Dudek. He'll crank it in the middle. It's deflected. And brought back all the way to Craig Allen. Allen could not come up with it. Now Sweeney gets it to Allen. Ward is with him. Allen with a lot of room. He just walks in. Followed by Sweeney is deflected. Off the boards. It's settled in the corner by Kapka. Trying to bring it back to Paul Child. Paul is banged from behind. He was hit hard by Joe Raduca.
Oh, the crowd won't give him much sympathy. He got a standing boo when he came out there, so he's still not very popular here. Look at Allen, blocked by Bursic. Sweeney gets a piece off the foot of Godfrey Ingram. Godfrey basically atoning for his play along the boards when he let Sweeney step in front of him and come in for the break.
That'll be a 3-line pass. It'll come back to the Pittsburgh red line, and the Force will put it in play with 8:40 left in the first half. 1-0. Spirit leading. Dudek has the game's only goal. Sweeney. Ward. And back now to Kapka. Sweeney marks him. Lete running against Raduca. Raduca gets there first, and Vaccaro comes up with the ball. Back to Benny Dargle. Dargle is the defender with Raduca in this particular fivesome. Ward. Still controlling. And brings it back to Sweeney. 8 minutes and 10 seconds left in the first half. The Spirit on top 1-0. Allen with a shot. Bursic to save. A quick turning shot, and we saw a couple of those last night in the Civic Arena. Kapka hits the deck.
Don Popovic wants two. He's not going to get it.
It'll be foul number 4 against the Cleveland Force.
Let's take a look at how bad it is. On the left wing boards, Kapka. He appeared to be a step by his man. That would have been a justifiable two. At least from this viewpoint. We're right across the way from it.
Kapka with a little room in the corner. Vaccaro can't come up with it, but Marcio Lete cannot get there for the rebound. It comes loose now. Craig Allen to Ward. Ward with some room. He drives it. Bursic makes the save. Cleared out by Erhard Kapp. Back come the Pittsburgh Spirit. This is Dave Hagen. On a 4-game scoring streak. Since coming back from his suspension, he's played well. High off the glass. Stan Telecki will settle. Telecki working against Bernie James. Stops. Back to McKenzie. McKenzie to Klinczarski at 7:10 left in the first half. Telecki hits the deck. He was knocked down by Bernie James, and Stan is limping. He's going to have to come off.
Bernie James clipped him before the ball got there, but it was unseen by the officials.
McKenzie a header. Valentine trying to get there. And that call will go against Valentine, who kind of rode Erhard Kapp, and that's 5 fouls. He rode Erhard Kapp toward the board, and he got the call.
Stan Telecki is in obvious pain, still on the Pittsburgh Spirit bench, and I hope that it's not that serious. He's been kicked many times in his career and has always bounced back, but he's really hurting out there. As we look at him on the bench, obvious pain.
Mepham controlling for the Cleveland Force. We'll work it back toward Vaccaro. Valentine against Erhard Kapp. Kapp goes down. Play goes on. Valentine kicked away by Erhard Kapp. Casameni settles. Back to Bernie James. For Valentine, McKenzie knocks him down. The foul will go on David McKenzie.
That's a little retaliation for all the bumps that the Spirit have been receiving. Let's see how bad this one is as we take another check. I don't think he pushed him that hard, but if the player goes down like that, you're going to get the call.
Casameni chips it, looking for Chapman, gets it back. Bursic right there as it kicks off the boards nicely to him. Hagen will try to run past James. He'll be cut off at the Pittsburgh red line. 6 minutes left in the first half. Good lead ball this time to Paul Child. Child settles at the red line for McKenzie. On the run was Hagen. Collision with Valentine. Hagen tackles it back, and it's kicked loose by the Force and finally chased down by Klinczarski. To Kapp. The Child, a little give and go, nothing there. Chapman will come up with it for Cleveland.
Great work rate from Dave Hagen, and now Chapman goes down. Hagen really made that thing work. He never quit on it. He dove basically in the penalty box while he was on the offensive attack, and Pittsburgh started to get the boo birds in Cleveland on the Force's case, but it was a great individual effort from Hagen.
5:35 left in the first half. Mepham with some room down the middle, knocked away by Sibbies. Casameni loses to Sibbies. Back to O'Hara. They look to Paul Child. He chips it for Sibbies, who runs to the Cleveland red line and stops. Foul zone, trying to work along the boards, gets past Ward into the corner. He'll use the boards up high and out of play. Force trailing the Spirit. It's 1-0 Pittsburgh on Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. We have 5 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the first half. We have a timeout down on the field. The Spirit leading the Force by a score of 1-0. This is the second of 6 meetings this year, JP, between these two teams. The Force and the Spirit have just been almost dead even in the past game.
Next time they meet, the Spirit are going to have an extra weapon. They're going to meet Friday, January the 3rd in Cleveland, and that's when Chuck Noll's friend, isn't it, Crazy George, comes to town. So there'll be some noise at the Civic Arena, but wherever these games are played, the rivalry is intense. It was a little too intense, I think, when Telecki got kicked. He is on the bench in some obvious pain. I'm guessing that they've iced it, but he was unable to really stand up and gain full balance. He's there talking to Don Popovic. We'll wait and see what his status is going to be, but I've seen Stan take so many kicks. As we look at the Spirit Booster Club, they were surprised when we told them earlier that Stan was back. I guess the news was all over Pittsburgh, but probably while they were en route and they were picking up Cleveland stations who were not aware of it.
Well, it's the second year of what is a 3-year contract. He had been suspended for failing to report to training camp back in September. And it was Stan Telecki who initiated the final reunion between himself and the ball club, and you will hear more from him at halftime. Ward has some room down in the right corner. Drops it in front. Great save by Bursic. David hit it once, finally hits it twice, trying to get it out of there. Now a scramble. Back it comes to Sweeney. Marcio Leite off the boards. Really set up Ward that time. I'm not sure where Marcio was trying to go. He's trying to go to Bursic, but he missed him. Foul zone. Dargle will get to the ball first. Roll it ahead to Vaquero.
This is where Pittsburgh misses it. Telecki, they've got 5 fouls on Cleveland. They need to draw one and get Cleveland a man down and have Pittsburgh on the power play.
Kevin Marr playing only for the second time this year. Played well last night in his first game. Somebody had to tell him how to get onto the field. He had not played this season, but he made it.
Here's where you've got to go one-on-one with somebody or send it in the box where it could be congested and you'll draw that foul, at least normally.
Dargle trying to pick up Marcio Leite there. We have less than 4 minutes now remaining in the first half. Kapka can't control. Dargle will for the Force. Then he drops it back to Vaquero. Raduca and Dargle together on defense. Sweeney, Ward, and right now on this line, it is Andy Chapman. This is Ward. They come back to Benny Dargle. Chapman falls down right at the top of the box. No call. 5 fouls on the Force. 3 on Pittsburgh, and we still have 3:25 left in the first half. A 1-0 Spirit lead. Ingram keeping it away from Dargle. Now he's settled. You know, really, JP, that ball's kicked into the box and deflected. Neither team has had a lot of scoring opportunities.
No.
Simply has not happened. Here's a chance for Valentine, but Bursic will come out. Drive it back for Kapka. Along the board, he gets past Benny Dargle. It's a 3-on-2 if he can cross it. He does. Ingram tackled away nicely. Now it's loose to Vaquero. Good job that time by Bernie James to tackle that ball away.
But then in the end, Bernie grabbed a hold of the Spirit player and gave him a little bit of a flip, which could have been called, but it was avoided. But Bernie James did make a nice play because really he breaks up the 3-on-2.
Casamani keeps it in play for the Force. Kapka now goes to Hagen, who's back on with Paul Child right now on this line. Telecki has not returned since he limped off. Dudek off the boards. Casamani keeps it in. Got him outnumbered. Here's Mepham. Tackled away by Kapka. And back come the Spirit. Long lead ball to Paul Child. Hagen keeps running. Child working it in, looking for Hagen. He's got him. Hagen turns, shoots. Child for the rebound. Can't get there, but Carroll holds on. And I tell you, Paul was knocked down from behind again by Bernie James. Nothing called. 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in the first half. Casamani to Valentine. Chapman maybe double shifting right now. Here's Klincharski with Child. Child's got some room, but it's James from behind.
Paul cannot lose his cool. He cannot lose his poise. But they're not calling it. It's that simple. The officials are not supposed to look up at the clock and know how many fouls there are, but I'll tell you what, I don't believe that for a minute, because it seems like when there's 5 fouls, that 6th one is not called as often as it should be.
1 minute and 35 seconds left. Valentine with Chapman and Casamani now. McKenzie takes over. Looks for Klincharski. Back comes Hagen. Again, his Child running ahead with Bernie James. Bernie's had 2 or 3 that could have been called. Nicky Klincharski with a drive. It got behind Vaquero, but it was off the boards. Chapman picks it up for Cleveland with 1 minute and 10 seconds left in the first half. Force fans want a goal before the period ends. Ward drops it back from Mepham. Dennis still controlling.
1 minute.
Now we have 1 minute to play in the first half. Casamani to Peter Ward. 49 seconds now. Force taking plenty of time. They want to get a good shot. Mepham a drive. Versus thought at the last second, made 2 saves. He also robbed on the play. Peter Ward. Ward for the rebound, and Ward was right in his face. Casamani back again with 35 seconds left. Casamani turning, shooting. Versus a leg save. It comes back to Hagen. Hagen with Child way downfield. 27 seconds. Mepham intercepts. Hagen will try to get it back. Can't do it. Casamani sets up Raduca to Ward with 20 seconds left first half. Ward in the front. Ward with a shot. Can't score. He was set up by Craig Allen. 10 seconds left. Dargle now. Almost like a Cleveland power play. They've got so much pressure on right now. Sweeney down the middle and out of play with 4 seconds left in the first half.
Well, it turned into the David Bursich show, but the good thing, at least so far, John, is that Pittsburgh avoided their bad habit, which has been to give up a goal at the end or at the beginning of a quarter. And right now, the Force wisely will call a timeout. You may see them pull Vaccaro with just 4 seconds left and a set piece coming up.
It is 1-0 Spirit. We have 4 seconds of business left in the first half, and you're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. You can see the man in the red shirt is Benny Dargle. He is going to be the goalkeeper for the final 4 seconds of this first half of play. And indeed, we are going to see the extra attacker. David Bursich has been a very busy man in the last 5 minutes. You can see Mepham here with a drive. There's one save. Watch it kick loose. There's another save as he robs Peter Ward that time. Great instinctive reaction on the rebound.
He had 5 saves in the first quarter. He had about 4 in the last couple of minutes here.
Dargle right at the red line. The extra attacker is on with 4 seconds left. Boy, a key time right now for the Spirit. Here's Dargle. He'll drive one up and over the glass with 2 seconds left. They're really quick on the whistle here, aren't they?
That was something.
Ball wasn't even out of play when the clock had stopped.
Ball was sent right back to Benny Dargle. He was wide open. He could have come in a few strides before knocking it, but you know, you don't have a chance to look up at the clock, and you figure time is going to go by faster than it actually does. 4 seconds is a lot longer than people realize. And now they're going to make a change. Cleveland wants to put Vaccaro back out because 2 seconds is a lot longer than some people realize. And with Pittsburgh with the ball, they could send it not over 3 lines, but certainly over 2. But you'd still need to be lucky with a couple seconds left in the ball in your own end to score. That wouldn't happen, really.
Spirit will be content to let this one tick away and take a 1-0 lead to the locker room at halftime on Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. We're at halftime here in Richfield Coliseum in the suburbs of Cleveland, Ohio. The Pittsburgh Spirit leading by a score of 1-0. The only goal came halfway through the first quarter of play. I'm John Sanders with John Paul Dellacamera. The Spirit were outshot, but not necessarily outplayed in the first half, JP.
No, I think they got a good message last night, John, when they lost that game 8-7 in Minnesota. They came out with a lot more determination, played a lot tighter defense. In the end, it got a little bit carried away when Cleveland had a lot of chances, but that's where your goalkeeping comes in, and David Bursich held the fort. So far at halftime, he has made 13 saves. That's a good half a night's work.
We both watched Stan Telecki when he limped off the field at halftime. It was not his ankle, as we first suspected. It was his knee, John Paul.
If I had to take an educated guess, I would doubt that he would return. He had it heavily taped up with ice, and they may not want to risk having Stan come out again, especially since he is not match fit. They may not want to take a chance. If he comes back, it would be sheer determination alone. But right now, it doesn't look all that good for him to return.
I want to remind you that we will be talking to Stan at halftime, but it was an interview tape before the game, so he will not have the ice on his knee. He will not be in agony when we hear from him a little bit later, but he will talk more about what has to be the day's big event. And it's hard to believe that when the team is in a 4-game losing streak, you can have an event that really overshadows the game, but it has.
Well, this is much bigger. That's what everyone, I'm sure, is talking about in Pittsburgh. The Spirit Booster Club is talking about it. We have some of their members here because it was on again, off again. And the last thing that I read led me to believe that it was off for good. And then last night, as you had described earlier, he literally was picked up on the way to Cleveland. So it may have been a surprise to some people, but in talking with some of the players, they said they'd heard about it for quite a while, and they were really expecting Stan to make a return here.
Those are not soccer balls, those are Frisbees here at halftime. He is in his 8th year playing in the MISL, and the number 2 applies to a lot of MISL categories for Fred Gergerev. He is very unassuming and goes about his business very quietly. John Paul Dellacamera met with him.
When you look at MISL statistics, you'll find that the #1 all-time leading scorer is Steve Jungle. But how many people know who the #2 all-time leading scorer is? The answer is #9 of the Pittsburgh Spirit, Fred Gergerev.
At some point, maybe I could do some flashy thing on the field and all that, but I don't know if that will go in the favor of the team, so I stay away from that. I think I've been doing whatever was best for the team. Whatever coaches always told that I should do on the field, that's what I've been doing. You know, I try hard, and no matter what, if they tell me just stay up and score a goal, or if they tell me go and track your main, go to defense, I'll try to do the best I can. Everything they tell me to do. Every year, go from town to town is not easy. And I have a family. I have a big family. I have three kids, and I all the time that I could, I would love just to spend with them. And I think that would be my most pleasurable time. And
since you've been in the league, how has the league changed?
Well, I thought that the game maybe became a little bit quicker than the first year, but I felt really good about it because I saw the first game that MISL played. It was in Nassau Coliseum. I think it was Cincinnati Kids and New York Arrows, and turnout was very good.
How did you adjust to the indoor game?
Get used to play 6 versus 6 instead of 11 against 11, and of course it was indoors, but you know that comes along.
After playing with Las Vegas last year and having them fold, how did you end up coming here to Pittsburgh?
There was 5 players from Las Vegas, and so there were some players here that I was familiar with and friends with, and so actually I didn't have to make so many new friends. Actually, they were all my old friends. So, and my family, and I'm based in New York, so this is much closer, you know, than any other place almost. So that's a big reason too. Of course, I'm not a stranger to Coach Popovich, so that's one of the reasons too.
How much longer do you see yourself as a player?
I think I can go on for maybe 5 or 10 more years. Not really.
Back at the Richfield Coliseum, I'm John Paul Dellacamera. One story is big. It says that Pittsburgh is leading Cleveland 1-0 at halftime, but the biggest story is the headline that Stan Telecki has rejoined the Pittsburgh Spirit. For more on that, we go to John Sanders.
Thank you very much, JP, and our halftime guest is kind of a mystery guest, I guess. Of course, you've been with us the first half. You know that Stan Telecki is back with the Pittsburgh Spirit. Stan, it went on for a long period of time. You made it very clear that you wanted to go home. You wanted to go to Poland, and that's the reason that you were leaving the Spirit and going to go back home. You finally made the decision that you're going to stay. I know this hasn't been an easy time for you, but what was the key factor in your deciding to stay in Pittsburgh and thus coming back to the Spirit?
I guess the most important that I couldn't find a buyer for my house. You know, thanks to the slow-moving market in this area. But seriously speaking, I cannot really afford, you know, to be responsible for my life in terms of just soccer or going to and joining a national team and trying to take a risk. So many things happening in Poland, in terms of changing place, finding house, and trying to adjust to a new environment. And my wife is expecting another child in 2 months, so I cannot really take this kind of risk, you know, in this situation.
I remember when you came back once before, and I'm not sure which time it was, you said, here comes trouble again. How do you think you're going to be perceived and received in the city of Pittsburgh?
Well, right now I don't worry about this because we have Don Popovich in hand, and he is more than able to handle Stan Telecki. So here no trouble anymore, I guess.
How about your teammates now that you're back once again?
Well, you've got to ask them, you know. Well, what I can tell, and I've been telling these guys all the time that I try to help the team winning, and I was paying I was getting money because of winning games, not to losing games, not scoring goals. I don't have any individual goals in terms of my future because, well, I hate to say, but I am already 30 years old. From the other hand, well, it's my dream to see the Pittsburgh Spirit winning games and give some good services on the field for these faithful fans.
Stan Telecki, back in a Pittsburgh uniform once again. Stan, thank you. It's great to have you back.
Thank you very much.
We're at halftime here in Cleveland, and you're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
John Paul Della Camera along with John Sanders. We're at halftime. The Spirit leads Cleveland 1-0 on a Helmut Dudek goal, his 6th of the year from Child at 7:30. For the kids that are watching and hopefully admiring the way the Pittsburgh Spirit are playing tonight, we remind you that Burger King would like you to become the honorary ball boy or girl for an upcoming Spirit home game. Just send a postcard to the Spirit telling in 25 words or less why you should be that person. Winners will receive an invitation to a future game where they'll get a free Spirit jersey, an autographed soccer ball, and a photograph with a Spirit player. And speaking of a future Spirit game, how about next Friday night? That's December 27th, right after Christmas. It's Eden Park Sports Bag Night when the Spirit hosts for the first time this season the Los Angeles Lasers at the arena. The first 5,000 fans in attendance will receive a black and gold Spirit sports bag, compliments of Eden Park. 8:05 is the kickoff time, and tickets are available at all choice seat outlets. We'll be back with highlights of the opening half of play when we return, but for now, you're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
Welcome back to Richfield Coliseum. 1-0 is our halftime score. The Pittsburgh Spirit have the only goal of the night, and here it is. It's a blast by Helmut Dudek. Watch it as it catches the corner, and I think it must have caught the hand of Chris Vaccaro to deflect into the right-hand corner of the net, John Paul.
It looked like it did, John. When you've got the shot that Dudek has, you got to try to use it as often as you can because something good will likely happen if you can get it anywhere near the net. That time he didn't beat Vaccaro cleanly, but Vaccaro got a little piece, it hit off the boards, and then went in. Other times the goalkeeper might make the initial save, but a rebound will get by, and there's somebody like a Paul Child right on the doorstep to go the other way. On the other hand, sometimes there's no rebound when your goalkeeper makes a big save like this.
Now, David Bursic, you can see, flipping it up in the air. Bursic punched it twice before he finally got it out of there, and he was tested very much at the end of the second quarter of play. David, in the first half, had a total, John Paul, of 13 saves, so he was very busy in the second quarter of play.
And that didn't do him justice. That was on slow motion. If you had seen that on the original speed, you would have agreed that that was a highlight film, couple of moves, because he really made some great plays. Here's a couple more saves that he makes. Is Ali Kazimani, last year's Rookie of the Year, will pass off to the right side. Nothing's going to crank right there. He loses the first one off the velocity of it, but made the second save off the player cutting in. And this is all happening in the last few minutes of the second quarter when Cleveland started to get some momentum, and we don't know if that momentum will carry into this next half. Certainly everyone connected with the Spirit is hoping that it doesn't, so that this long losing streak and TV streak can all come to an end. But one thing for sure, Pittsburgh is playing with far more discipline than they did last night. They allowed themselves to get into a wide-open game in that second half, and that's not really their style, and that's not how you win.
It is not. And, of course, if you look back to the first half last night, they played very, very well. Things totally fell apart in the second half. Here is Nicky Klincharski. Good, strong right foot. You can say that Vaccaro was there. Child looking for the rebound, and he was decked by Bernie James, and Child and Bernie James not strangers to each other at all. They have gone head-to-head many times. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the second half. We're also awaiting word, JP, on Stan Telecki, who returned to the team today, hurt his knee in the first half, and you made the comment you do not expect to see him in the second half.
Well, I'd be surprised the way he had limped off and the way he was taped up with the ice. I'd just be very surprised if he had been playing and this was a big game. Maybe they would try him in the second half. It's just my guess. It's an educated guess, and I could be wrong on it, but the way he had walked off there, even though he was under his own power, it didn't look all that positive like he was going to be returning. He may try it for a shift and see what happens. I do know this, that Stan Telecki has played with as much pain as most players can. You don't realize it because he was always out there playing every game, but I saw how much ice he had put on him after various games because your big goal scorers get kicked an awful lot. Sometimes it's seen, sometimes it's not seen. But even if there's a foul, so what? In this particular case, even if they had caught the foul on Bernie James back the other way, it would not have been of any real consequence to the Spirit because they lose one of the top players in the league.
Unfortunately, Chris Kringle is too far away from JP to hand out any early Christmas candy to him, but he's working his way around the Richfield Coliseum. The Force back on the playing surface at the present time. The Spirit just now starting to return.
Well, we have this time. Let's talk about our Giant Eagle goal-getter contestant so we don't have to rush through that. Janice Kapusta has chosen Paul Child in the third quarter. So Janice is our contestant from Benicia, Pennsylvania. Ray Barisco had chosen John O'Hara in the second quarter, and it really didn't matter who he chose because no one scored a goal for Pittsburgh, and actually no one did for Cleveland either. So that means that this next goal, if it is scored by Paul Child, will be worth $300 in Giant Eagle groceries. And if I'm not mistaken, John, Child was the one that scored in our first Giant Eagle goal-getter contest to break a long string.
As a matter of fact, he has two of them in Minnesota, two winners, and I do not see Stan Telecki even back on the field at this point.
Well, I just hope that it is nothing serious. He did take a good whack. I thought it was low around the ankle, but we saw he was taped up by the knee, and now I see him. He is still in uniform, but he is limping the other way, so maybe they will have a doctor look at him. We'll try to get a progress report for you, but highly doubtful, if not impossible, that Stan would be coming back. I just doubt it. So we'll see what happens in the third quarter, but the Spirit now know that they will have to do without his services, which is a tough break. But if they can play the way they did in the first half, we should see some kind of a game. One thing for sure, John, this is probably the lowest scoring first half we've seen, especially in this building. Like you said before, many of these scores end up 6-5. We still have another half to go, but if they play it the way it was played in the first half, it may be one of the lower scoring games in the season series. And now I see them trying to bring Stan around the other way so he can get on the Spirit bench, and he may just watch it as a spectator. In any event, you know if he comes back in the third quarter because John Sanders will be doing the play-by-play. We may see Stan walking across. He's not coming back in this second half. Nope. Hopefully, though, it is not serious.
Unless he can play on one leg, we won't see him. He is back on the bench for the final 30 minutes of play. In the first and the third, the visiting team kicks off. That's the Spirit, so they'll kick off to start the third period of play. Mepham immediately trying to put some pressure on. It goes back to John O'Hara, who will bring it all the way back to David Bursich. Carl Valentine trying to put some pressure on there. Chipped ahead. It'll be picked off by James. James and Child going head-to-head again tonight. They've done it many times in the past. 1-0, the Spirit leading the Cleveland Force. Long lead ball, looking for Chapman against McKenzie. McKenzie cannot get there. It's won by Chapman. Chapman brings it back to Valentine. Valentine along the near board against Johnny O'Hara. In front for Chapman. Chapman chipped off the chest of O'Hara, settled by Godfrey Ingram to Z. Kapka to Johnny O'Hara. O'Hara being marked by Valentine pushes it ahead at midfield to Kapka. Z now will start a dribble near the red line to Godfrey Ingram. Ingram works it in. Now makes a quick move to his left, drives it to the corner, stops against Mepham. Goes in front for Child. Child back to John O'Hara. We've played a minute in the third quarter. 1-0, the Spirit leading here in Cleveland. Child chipping for Kapka. It's broken up by Casamini. So now the Force will start back.
Some other action tonight in the MISL. Baltimore at Minnesota. Minnesota leads 3-2, and St. Louis at Kansas City. No score. That is in the first quarter. That Baltimore-Minnesota game is in the second quarter. Right here, it's 1-0 Pittsburgh.
Baltimore tied. There's a blast that hit the far post off the leg of Z. Kapka. Baltimore right now tied at 7-6 for second place behind Minnesota, but everybody looking up at the strikers right now. Here's Valentine. To Sweeney. Tackled by Hagen. Picked up by Klimcharski. Fans wanted a call, but Dave got the ball first. Here he comes. Right side, Marcio Leite. Leite will settle. Brings it back. Left-footed shot is deflected away by Valentine. Picked up by Klimcharski. Back to Kevin Marr. He's double-teamed by James and Sweeney. And Sweeney will chase it down in midfield. Ahead, he's got Craig Allen. Klimcharski back on defense. Sweeney turns it. Tackled away by Marr. Kevin Marr coming out nicely to pick that one off. And now Dudek across midfield. He'll drive one. Deflected off. Ward headed almost in by Marcio Leite. Really some sloppy play by Cleveland. They almost gave away a goal that time.
And that happened right after we were talking before about a Dudek blast. He let it go and they almost scored.
The penalty had been called, but it was against Pittsburgh, so the goal will count. The game is even. A penalty had been called, or a foul had been called, but there was no stoppage in play, and the game is tied.
Well, there's the Spirit killer, Craig Allen, coming back the other way. On him is Kevin Marr. Kevin missing on the attempted tackle. Allen gets it on the half volley, basically, and drills it upstairs to tie things up.
I had taken my eye off of Allen just for a second because I saw the official was going to make a call. But before he could do it, Allen scored and tied the game at 1-1. It comes at 2:28 of the third quarter. 1-1. And they put some new life in the Cleveland force. Back comes Ward.
His 17th goal of the season. Assist number 0, Chris Vaccaro. For Craig Allen, his 17th goal is his 300th.
Chris Vaccaro, you may hear in the background, is going to get credit for the assist. He dished it off to Allen, who took it down and scored. So it is 1-1. Here's Marcio Leite right at the top of the circle. A feed attempt to Dudek, but it's broken up and taken by Allen. Pater Coley is on for one of the few times tonight. Allen, a shot deflected in front by Falzone, chased down by Erhard Kapp, who's crossed to Dudek, and Helmut will start back. 11:30 left in the third quarter, 1-1. James with a goal to even up. Long lead ball for Sibbies. It's deflected by Ercole and picked off by Vaccaro. Now Valentine, marked by Helmut Dudek. Dudek just kind of works the ball to David Bursic. Bursic looks long but goes short to Erhard Kapp. Now David will have to come out as Kapp drops it to the far side. Here's Kapka. Z at the red line. Gives it to Godfrey Ingram. Starts in against Dennis Meffam. Turning. Stopping again. Leaves it for Erhard Kapp. A blast in front. Vaccaro is there. Kicks it out to Casamani. But coming back to pick it off is Erhard Kapp. 10 minutes, 40 seconds left third quarter. O'Hara on a run. He shoots up high and out of play. It's a 1-1 game. You're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. Hermano Richel standing next to Chris Vaccaro, readies things for play. On the goal kick, Vaccaro now will come out and put it on the ground. 1-1. The goal by Craig Allen, who took a feed from Vaccaro. Vaccaro with his third assist of the year. Chapman against Bursic. McKenzie loses. Valentine had a shot, but it went up over the glass and out of play.
Oh, David made a bad pass up the middle there, and McKenzie was certainly not expecting it. We'll get another look at it here as it's rolling to the boards. Bursic is going to take, he doesn't look up and see, now he sees McKenzie with Valentine right on the doorstep, but he didn't look up initially to see where that ball was going or to see who was open, and just a second off is all that pass was, but it was enough to make Valentine and the force have an opportunity to score.
See if the goal opens up the game a little bit. It's 1-1 at this point. McKenzie chips it ahead, looking for Ingram along the near boards into the corner. Godfrey against Meffam, crosses. Child can't get there. See Kapka, picked up by Chapman. Knocked away by Casamani. Casamani is tripped, and the foul will go against Pittsburgh. First foul of the third quarter. Stan Telecki played, what, 3, maybe 4 shifts in the first half before he was injured. He has not returned. He's on the bench with his knee heavily wrapped with ice. He will probably not be back tonight. Chapman in the attack zone, works it back toward the middle. Collision, nothing called. Now Valentine, high-stepping with Marcio Leite. Sweeney now loses to Kapka, and the call is going to go against Z. Kapka.
It was a pretty tame game for Mike Sweeney in that first exhibition game of the year. He was kicking everything that moved in a Pittsburgh uniform. He's a very aggressive player and a good one, and he's caused the Spirit a lot of problems in the past.
Chapman tries to get it to Valentine. Back to Meffam. Chipping for Chapman. I like that. 9 minutes.
That's good.
9 minutes left in the third quarter. High in the air it comes. 3 heads come together. Sweeney comes up with the ball for Cleveland. Looking for Chapman. McKenzie will mark him off the boards. Looking for a rebound. Sweeney and Valentine. And finally, Marcio Leite clears it out of there.
Tough assignment for John O'Hara because actually he had to draw 2 players because no one helped him out.
Again, it's Chapman. Again, marked by McKenzie. David tries to tackle it away, but Chapman controls into the corner off the board. Looking for the rebound. Sweeney, a header. He missed the shot high. So the Spirit will try to start something offensively. Last 2 or 3 rushes have been all Cleveland. Hagen at midfield. Bernie James will mark him. Long lead ball to Sweeney. He's got help on the left side in Craig Allen. Off the boards, tries to get his own rebound, a pass to himself, but Sweeney was decked as he moved into the box area. Hagen now will start back for the Spirit. 7 minutes, 56 seconds left, third quarter.
It's one of the few times tonight the Spirit got caught on a breakdown the other way. That's because Dudek made a great run down the other side, but when Hagen's pass was down on the money, it enabled Cleveland to get possession, and Dudek was trapped.
Kevin Marr, Paul Child, and here's Sibbies. Running against Ward, off the boards. Klincharski there, tries to settle, and Dargle comes up with it, gets it to Vaccaro. Vaccaro rolls it to Ward. Quickly to the Pittsburgh red line. Bursic, a left-hand save. Dargle deflected by Marr. 3-on-1 for the Spirit if they can break out. Child tries to get his foot on it, does to Sibbies. He's got room. To Child, he scores. The Spirit regain the lead. Beautiful glib and go. Klincharski to Child, to Sibbies, and back to Child, and Paul Child has scored the goal.
That's an awfully big goal for the Spirit, not just because it gives him the lead, John, but because of the point that you had made before that Cleveland was starting to take the play a little bit. Here's Child on the left, puts it between the legs of Bernie James for Sibbies. He has a chance to shoot instead of Child, and he puts it into the upper corner, and that means that we have a Giant Eagle goal-getter winner. So Paul Child has done it again. That means $300 in groceries right at Christmas time for Janice Kapusta. So Janice, don't do your holiday shopping because you're going to get some $300 worth of groceries that hopefully will go far. As Child gets his 13th goal of the year, and he continues his scoring streak now. He has scored in 9 straight games.
2-1, the Spirit lead on Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
Here's to Katie and you, yeah. We share the best of times. Nobody sees it the way that we do. Katie and you, we know it good. Katie and you, like no one else ever could. Serve us together, and all we do. Katie and
What we're seeing is the child of Kyle Dietrich. We're told he's the reserve goalkeeper. I knew that, of course, from Cleveland, but his parents live in Pittsburgh, so they want to see their grandchild. I guess that's what that's all about. There's Kyle Dietrich. He looks a little bit like Mark Malone, doesn't he? At least from the TV monitor.
Who, the baby?
Not the child. No, not the child. No, don't get me in trouble.
Counting down towards 7 minutes left in the third quarter, the Spirit have regained the lead. Paul Child with his 13th goal of the year. Here's Helmut Dudek. Got the big foot. Working with foul zone right now. Into the corner, trying to use the boards. Rolls it around to Vaccaro. Well, you never really know. Sometimes it kicks loose like it did that time. Sometimes it won't go anywhere. Out of play. Of course, we'll put it in. Back in play at 6:46.
But the bottom line is that he gets that shot away. It will cause a lot more respect from the other team. They'll try to not give him as much room. But while he has that room, he's got to crank it because no one in this league has a left-footed shot like Helmut Dudek.
Versus never really saw that one until the last second. It was a screen shot. One of those that hugged the ground, and now Erhard Kapp will chip it back to midfield. Mepham goes up high over Marcio Leite, makes the header. Marcio wanted a foul call, didn't get it. There are no fouls against the Force thus far in the third quarter, 2 against the Spirit. A weak effort that time by Casamani. The ball went nowhere. Running against Casamani. Still controlling. Earhart stops. Goes to Godfrey Ingram. Marked by Valentine. The foul zone on the far side. Foul zone. Miskicked the ball. Leite looking for the rebound. Foul zone. Gets it in a glove save that time made by goalkeeper Vaccaro. I'm not sure if that had gone in. Here's a chance for Ingram. And he missed the ball. Foul zone settles. To Ingram. He drives it in front. Marcio Leite controls. Leite pushed from behind by Casamani. But still the Spirit control. Marcio starts in against Bernie James, loses. The Force take over at 5:30 to play in the third quarter. 2-1 Pittsburgh lead.
Here's where the Spirit have had some problems. A goal there, and it's 3-1. They shot wide on a few of those occasions where a goal would have loomed big.
That'll go against Erhard Kapp. It'll be the third foul against the Spirit. We've had no fouls so far against Cleveland in this third quarter.
And there can be no arguing about this one. Watch. Nailed. Cap just nailed Peter Ward. Ward stayed down trying to get a couple of minutes. When he saw that he wasn't going to, he made a nice recovery.
Instant help.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Vaquero ahead to Chapman. Drops it for Bernie James. Dargle, who brief stint as the goalkeeper in the first period. Chapman trying to feed Sweeney. Here's Dargle, who'll drive one in front. It's not down by Dudek. There's a rebound again. Dudek blocked it. It goes up and out of play. 4:56 left in the third quarter. Spirit leading. You're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
And as we come back, we're looking at a near miss from Charlie Falzone. He knocked that ball down, and Vaquero with his right hand just swatted it away, or else that could have been 3-1 for Pittsburgh. It's 2-1 for Pittsburgh, though, and they'll take that. Cleveland with a free kick.
Less than 5 minutes to play in the third quarter. James against O'Hara. Turns around, or rather Allen against O'Hara. Craig Allen, who has the goal for Cleveland. The Spirit goals from Dudek and Child tonight. Paul with his 13th of the season to put Pittsburgh back ahead 2-1. Kapka to Child. Paul now against Benny Dargle. Kinsey with a drive high off the glass. Looking for the rebound. It's picked up this time by Craig Allen. Dargle will drop it back for Sweeney. 4 minutes and 25 seconds left. We go far side to Peter Ward, who will work it up. Drops it back for Allen. Allen marked by O'Hara. Right at the Pittsburgh red line, he goes for Raduca. Kapka cuts him off and comes up with the ball. Back comes Kevin Marr. Marr with a break down the left side. He's got Child to his right. Only Dargle to beat. Here's Child, but the ball's going to be behind him. He'll wait a little bit. Back for Marr. See what Kevin does. He goes to Kapka. O'Hara chips it toward the goal. Off the top of the glass. They called a foul on the Cleveland force.
Sweeney just put his arms around Romano Ritchell, and I don't think he was trying to ask him to dance. That's contact.
Well, he was also keeping Ward away a little bit. That'll be the first foul against the Cleveland force.
I don't know. Sweeney's arguing about something. Sweeney is such an aggressive player, but tonight he hasn't been doing that. But let's watch here. Well, I'll tell you what, he's going right after O'Hara's ankles. Talk about aggressiveness.
Well, the ball was already gone when he made the contact.
It was long gone.
Sweeney has a birthday coming up. He's a Christmas baby. Sweeney will be 25, or the 26 on Christmas. And we want to take this opportunity to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas on our Spirit Network. We won't have any more telecasts until later in January. We go to the West Coast. Sweeney to midfield. O'Hara up and out of play. 2-1 is our score. The Spirit leading. We'll be televising next, I guess, the 25th and 26th, JP, from San Diego and then Los Angeles. A chance for a little midwinter break to the West Coast.
Yeah, it'll be a little warmer out there. It'll be a chance for us to see what San Diego is made of this year. Their record is a little bit deceiving. They've not been running away with the division. In fact, Wichita is doing better out there, but San Diego is 6-5, and any team that has those kind of stars, they're still going to be everybody's pick to win it all this year.
Casamani at midfield. Marked by Dudek. Chipping for Chapman.
You're going to stay with that,
I'm going to stay with that one, yeah.
That's good.
Valentine turning around, controls. A little bit of room, but he decides not to shoot. Casamani will walk in against Marcio Leite. He drives one. It bounces off the back of Chapman. Cleared away by Marcio Leite. Mepham now controls for the force. Looking for Chapman. Working against Marr, using the boards, looking for a rebound. It's headed away. That time by Helmut Dudek. Back to Bernie James. For Chapman. Chapman in deep. Cleared away by Dudek, but not out. The Force are going to take over at 2:33 left in the third quarter of play. Each team with a goal in the third quarter. Allen is 17th. Child is 13th. It's 2-1 Pittsburgh. Marcio Leite right at midfield. Uses his body to cut off Casamani. And Casamani's going to run him down. And the official says play on. Emphatically, it came from Hermano Ritchell. He took one look at Marcio and said play on. Mepham near the red line. Keeps coming. Now he's double teamed. He goes into the corner and loses it to Dudek. Now they're going to call that? Yes.
I think they were forced to call that. Helmut Dudek shakes his head and says, yeah, about time. Here's another look at it. Dudek going for it with Mepham. Yeah, I would say that was one.
That is the second foul on the force. Less than 2 minutes left in the first half. Child in the near corner against Sweeney. Paul works it back for foul zone, but keeps his dribble. Now to Earhart Cap. Earhart's been very aggressive tonight. Played well. High into the air and out of play it goes. It'll be Pittsburgh's Spirit ball. With 1:38 left in the third quarter. 2-1. And all these 6-5 games that these two teams have had, and we're talking a bunch of 6-5 scores. 5 of the last 11 games have been decided by that number, 6-5, one way or the other. This is only 2-1. We still have 16 minutes and 38 seconds of soccer left, and you can see Mr. Sweeney. He is still ragging the official. Ingram back to foul zone. Keeps it alive to Earhart Cap. Crosses to O'Hara at midfield. 1:30 left, third quarter. Dargo puts some pressure on Ingram, but still the Spirit in their black uniforms tonight control. Sweeney. To Peter Ward, back to Sweeney. That one rolls harmlessly past Allen and is picked up by foul zone now at the red line. Charlie starts back. A little bit of room. Looking for Paul Child. It's broken up in that box area by Raduca. We have 1 minute left in the third quarter.
1 minute.
Here he is again, saved by Bursich. It was Craig Allen again. Now Peter Ward with a chance. He's tackled and a foul is going to be called on Earhart Cap. 52 seconds left, and once again, you give that guy Allen that much room, and you're in a dangerous position.
Here's the foul that's called on Earhart Cap. That's one of the few times that Allen has beaten John O'Hara tonight, and Bursich came up big.
Rebound knocked into the corner. Foul zone will chip it along the boards, and it stays in play and rolls all the way back to the red line of the Cleveland Force. Foul zone off and Kapka on with 42 seconds left. Here's Ward. James with a little room against Kapka. Stops, works it around, and it's O'Hara there. The Child from behind. Dargo decks Child.
That's incredible.
Nothing called.
That's jumping over the back of an opponent.
Out of play it goes.
It'd make it rougher. It'd make it rougher. If it goes like this, that's where it's just similar to hockey. If you let everything go, then the players don't know what's going to be called, and consequently, it's an all-out war. Well, he's right over his back.
The danger here is that the Spirit wait for the call to be made. They play on. That kind of happened to them a little earlier on James' goal. There was a slight hesitation because a foul was coming. Boom, he scores.
That's right. You don't stop until you hear the whistle, but it's only human nature. I mean, look at Paul Child. He was creamed, really, on that play, and it's a normal foul. If there was a foul call on that, the Cleveland fans wouldn't have booed. I don't feel, well, they'd boo anything probably, but, I mean, normally, they would understand a play like that. If it had happened the other way, they certainly would have been calling for a foul at least.
They'd still be in arms here. Kapka. The time running out in the third quarter, leaving it for Godfrey Ingram, but Chapman was back in time. 10 seconds left now in the third quarter of play. Nothing's going to happen here. The Force will kick off to start the fourth quarter. That's what they're going to do. It's Pittsburgh 2 and Cleveland 1 on Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. Coach Don Popovic trying to figure out how to hang on to a 2-1 lead here in the fourth and final quarter of play as we get set. It's 2-1, Pittsburgh leading.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's attendance.
Here is Allen. You see him break loose, drive the ball with his left foot. Bursich got a piece of it, but not enough. That made it 1-1. And the Pittsburgh Spirit scored again before the quarter ended, much to the delight of the boosters who are here. You can see that Klimcharski is the first one to touch it to Child. Child will drive it to Sibbies. Now Sibbies had room. He settled, decided to go back to Paul. No problem here. I like those. Wide open, and it's 2-1.
That made Janice Kapusta winner of $300 in Giant Eagle groceries. Kate Hilaiva of Mount Pleasant has chosen Ian Sibbies in the fourth quarter. We'll see what happens there.
15 minutes to play here, 2-1, and we'll see if John Paul can bring us home a winner.
I knew you were going to phrase it that way.
Yes, of course.
All right, fourth quarter's begun, just underway. It is a 2-1 Pittsburgh lead over Cleveland. The Force playing without Kai Haskeby for the last 7 games with a hamstring problem. Here's a Kazamani shot wide, loose in the box, given up to Chapman. He shot it too high. Lucky break there for Pittsburgh. That would have been a goal within about 18 seconds at the start of a quarter, and they would have been in similar trouble to what they were in last night. Here's Leite down the left side, getting behind James. Marcia right in front for Hagen, knocked away. Look at Andy Chapman, how far he came back. He's a forward, but he came back where a defender normally is.
Andy did a good job to get back that time. Of course, they're also playing without Alex Carnozzi, who's out of the lineup as well. Another big-name player for the Cleveland Force, not on the field here tonight.
Carnozzi seems to play well against Pittsburgh, whether it's in a reserve role or sometimes when he would be a starter for this team.
And what has happened to Stan Telecki, you say? Well, he's on the bench with possible knee ligament damage, but don't panic yet. He's going to be examined back in Pittsburgh. And we'll see what the doctors have to say. Came back for the first time tonight and immediately got hurt.
Yeah, they don't know. It could be even a strain or something very small, so we don't know. We're not going to say, but Stan was looked at preliminary examination here by a Cleveland doctor. He'll be looked at when the team gets back to Pittsburgh. Free kick.
Foul goes against Memphis.
Free kick for the Spirit, and it will be Helmut Dudek who had the first goal of the game. Taking it.
We saw Stan, who's back out on the bench, to root his teammates home, hopefully, to a victory here in Cleveland.
Pittsburgh.
5 straight losses in this building for Pittsburgh. That includes playoff action. Last year, the Force won 3 of the 4 games. This year, they'll play 6 times. The Spirit won the first meeting, the opener this year in Pittsburgh.
Mepham up to Carl Valentine with his back to goal. Back to Mepham, a 2-1 Spirit lead. Ball played in open space. Bernie James there. Cranks it off the boards. Bursic knocks it down. Look out. But Bursic comes up with it before Sweeney can get closer to make a play. It's still 2-1 in favor of the Spirit. Goals by Dudek and Child. Craig Allen has scored the only goal for Cleveland. Only 9,700. 9,789 on hand here to watch this one. Probably the smallest crowd that has watched these two teams play, certainly in the last few years. But Carroll clears it right of the Spirit bench. Nice catch by David Douglas, the Spirit head trainer.
You saw David
he was
earlier.
that athletic, did you?
Yes, I did.
You did. Well, he was with the Maulers, right? So he learned how to catch.
Certainly.
I'm sure with that.
But it had ends on it. This ball is round.
It's a little different.
We saw David earlier. He had to come out and treat Stan Telecki. It's great to have David with us on the team this year.
13-14 to go. In this fourth quarter, the Spirit are leading at 2-1. Lots of times the crowd here has been an intimidating force. Not, no pun intended, by the way, but I think with this few here, that's a good sign. At least it's a brighter spot for the Pittsburgh Spirit. Crowd noise should not be as big a factor as in previous games.
I'll tell you who could be a factor is that guy with the ball.
Yeah, watch him. Craig Allen will just knock it in. David Bursic is there. He killed the Spirit in the playoffs a few years back. Ball knocked into the seats and out of play one more time. As we look at some of the faithful fans here in Cleveland, it's just traditional, whether it's this sport or some of the other sports that don't sell out. December is just a bad month, so Cleveland, I'm sure in that second half of the year, will get their attendance back up. They led the league last year in attendance. Right now, they're up to about 10,000 a game.
December 27th, right after Christmas in Pittsburgh, the Los Angeles Lasers will be there, and a chance for all of you who are out of school to come and enjoy some indoor soccer.
Greg Allen looking. That's usually where the Spirit draw the big crowds.
Look at him push his way in.
Yeah, that was a bit of a push. As Sweeney shoots it, and that goes into the crowd.
Now, they had already called the foul. Who did they call the foul? They called it on Civvies, I guess, or Kevin Marr. I'm not sure.
It is on Pittsburgh, and we'll look at it again.
Well, let's watch and see what happens. The call is against Kevin Marr, unless they went back to the previous play, because this is where the foul came, and look at that. How are you going to call the foul on Kevin Marr? They did.
Craig Allen off the boards, in front, and he'd love to get that back on his very first chip. Pasquale DeLuca. And he just plain missed it. He just shanked it upstairs. A little rusty, maybe, just coming on. He doesn't have any goals this year, but normally he doesn't get up there and have those kinds of scoring chances. But the Spirit got a break there. Right now, the way it's going, Pittsburgh needs to get another goal to feel at least a little bit safer. A 2-goal lead is not a great lead in indoor soccer. I don't know what is after last night, right?
No, I tell you what, a 2-goal lead is like no lead at all. We found that out. The Spirit had a 4-goal lead. It was 5-1. After an early 4-0 lead, it was a great first half of play for Pittsburgh. There's the goal kick, and it's intercepted by James. Oh.
Talk about your communication gap.
Or Allen, I'm sorry, not James, Allen.
Well, Pittsburgh, again, very fortunate. You can't have a communications problem back that deep. Erhard Kapp and David Bursic and Craig Allen missed their opportunity if there ever was in the MISL. He had earlier when he scored his goal, he had his 300th career point in the MISL. He's one of the very best offensive players. He was in the doghouse, if you remember, last year. But occasionally he gets there and comes right back out.
Bursic says to heck with it. I'll kick it downfield myself.
Yeah, I'll send it out there. DeLuca right back to Chris Vaccaro. Now Vaccaro throws long. He looks for his game breaker, Allen. Sent back to Sweeney. To Peter Ward on the left. 2-1, Pittsburgh leading at 12:07 to go. Ward down the left side against Cap. Lets a shot fly. Punched out by Bursich. Picked up by Nicky Klincharsky, and he's on the fly. 3-on-3 over midfield. Sends it behind Child, so that will slow down the attack. Child to Erhard Cappy, lets it roll for Godfrey Ingram, and now it's played back. A little more miscommunication. And Allen is back the other way for the force. Cuts to the outside, a shot, leg save. David Bursich, a nice one as it goes out of play. It's 2-1 Pittsburgh. Stay with us. You're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
Craig Allen has the only goal of the game for Cleveland. Another chance against Cap, a leg save made by Bursich, and somebody's got to take charge of the ball. You just can't let it roll aimlessly. The Spirit playing giveaway down there the Cleveland red line.
Corner kick, set piece. Blocked by Kevin Marr, and David Bursich gets it off the Casamani set play. You can only get away with so many mistakes in your own end. Here's Leite down the left side. Has met from the beat, turns him to the inside. Off the boards, it goes by, and Casamani will pick it up. Cleveland looks to counter quickly. Up for Carl Valentine. A lot of clubs were after him, but Cleveland signed him. Chicago was bidding high. Reportedly, Pittsburgh was interested in him as well. Used to play in the North American Soccer League with Vancouver. Very good outdoor player. Casamani in the box for Valentine. Wants to turn, and O'Hara just steps in front of him for Leite. Marcio bang, loses the ball. Chapman to Valentine. Looking. Kevin Marr trying to force him out. Played back to Bernie James, the force captain. Back of the midfield line. Leite on him. Now it's Dennis Mepham. Up for Valentine. Leaving it for Chapman. Look out, but it's blocked, and a nice defensive play by Kevin Marr.
Kevin Marr playing for only the second time this year. Played well last night.
Casamani shot goes wide. Marr chasing. Falzone also after. Stood along the boards for Valentine. He and Ingram bump. Marr in there to try and help out. Players battling for that ball along the near boards. Who wants it? Well, who's going to get it? The way that ball is bouncing is more like it. Still, no one's possession. Now Cleveland. Mepham to Valentine. Wants to turn. Right-footed shot goes wide. Ingram tried to send it back, and Bursich's got a piece. That was careless as well for Pittsburgh. They're causing some major problems for themselves back there. Now it is Casamani the other way to Allen. Craig Allen.
Look out.
Can shoot from either foot. Gives it to Casamani. A shot. Leg save again. Bursich. Another shot stopped by David Bursich on the short side, and he's got to be wondering why it's turning into a shooting gallery back there. John O'Hara. Now on it for Pittsburgh. Sent up to the near side, McKenzie. Up for Marcio Leite. Now to Godfrey Ingram.
Third game in 4 nights for the Pittsburgh Spirit. Let's hope they can keep their legs.
On the far side, Capta to Hagen on a nice run. A shot just missed off the far post. That one would have looked good on the scoreboard. It's still, though, 2-1 in favor of the Spirit as Ward comes back. A lot of near misses for Pittsburgh. Dennis Mepham slowing things down. It's 2-1, an uncharacteristically low-scoring game between these two teams. But a nail-biter because it's anyone's game at 2-1 Pittsburgh. And a foul is called on Cleveland. Watch out for the quick restart. Too quick.
Oh, they ruled it off. The official, Don DeWeese, ruled it off and said, come back, let's set it up. Hagen with a good run that time. Got the ball. Had to poke it home to the right side, just missed the right post.
Mike Sweeney on the set piece the other way. Right side, Ward. Foul on Dave McKenzie. That's his fourth. Incidentally, this is the best showing defensively for the Spirit. After 3 quarters, they've only given up the 1 goal. And the first time this season on the road after 3 quarters, and Pittsburgh is led going into the 4th. Let's hope that that is something good. Peter Ward with a shot that's blocked. Off the boards. Darwin coming back, so is Hagen. Hagen took a kick.
Yep. They called it. Called it on Dargo. 4 fouls now on the Spirit. The foul goes against the force.
On the free kick, McKenzie to Hagen. He gets kicked again. He's wondering where's the foul. And the referee on the near side of the boards, way away from the plate, calls it but late. And Don Popovic says, hey, to Armando Ritchell, how come you're not calling it? It's your side.
And, of course, the thing that Popovic has to be careful of is he doesn't say too much.
That's right.
4-3. The Spirit 4 fouls, the force 3. That's the way it stands. That could be a key factor. We still have 9 minutes to play.
Helmut Dudek to Hagen. He wanted Dudek to break the other way.
Passing is not crisp right now.
No.
He's kind of laying the ball out there.
Craig Allen. Got to pass it with authority, not be tentative. Allen the other way, McKenzie, nice defensive play, and Child sends it up for Hagen, one-on-one against DeLuca. Now he's joined by Sweeney. Hagen holds it, up for Child, cut off by Sweeney. This is going to be a quick counterattack for Cleveland if they can get some numbers ahead. Sweeney into the attack zone. DeLuca to the right. Ward left. Sweeney the shot. Punched out. Nice save. David Bursich diving to his left. Keeps the score at 2-1 as Hagen is in some trouble. Cleveland now applying some heavy pressure, but Dudek will escape it. His pass blocked by Craig Allen, and the Force will get it back. It's 3-on-3. Up for Peter Ward against Dave McKenzie. 2-1 Pittsburgh leading it. Ward, a good goal scorer, cuts to the inside, now outside. Stripped of the ball by Mack. Hagen and DeLuca bump for the boards. DeLuca will win the ball. Right point, Casamani. Left side for Benny Dargle. In a little closer, maybe too close. He cuts to the right, leaves it off. Peter Ward, a shot, score. Off the goal post and in. And it's tied at 2.
Peter Ward will get the goal, his 12th of the year. It comes at 6:59. Dargle will set him up as he crosses. Ward takes it, dribbles around Koepka, catches the post and bounces in. We start over again at 2-2.
So Peter Ward will get credit for the goal. It was his 12th goal of the season. And a big one it is because it has tied it up. But we were talking before, Pittsburgh has had a lot of chances the other way, and they were unable to capitalize on them. Let's hope that that's not going to turn out to be a bad omen for the Spirit. They need to get one back. Tied up at 2 on Ward's 12th goal of the year. Dennis Mepham just shoots that one. That's going to go way up and out of play. And that will force another stoppage in play. And right now there is an officials timeout on the field as they announce the scoring. Ward's 12th of the year for Benny Dargle at 6:59. And while the officials on the field take a timeout, we'll do it as well with the score. Pittsburgh 2, Cleveland 2. You're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. And as we come back to Ridgefield, I want to remind you it's 2-2 Pittsburgh and Cleveland. I'm John Paul Della Camera with John Sanders. Here's where Pittsburgh really has to suck it up, John. This is their third game in 4 nights, and hopefully fatigue does not set in. Cleveland had to play in Chicago last night and travel all the way back here today. Granted, they fly, but it still takes a lot out of you. And Pittsburgh was in no better position. They bust all the way to Cleveland last night. It's only a couple hours and a half, but by the time you get to bed, the adrenaline from the game, it's late, and you've got to get your body right back in it.
Well, we'll find out in the next 7:53, won't we?
That's what the game is coming down to, right? 7:53. John O'Hara with it. Up the right side for Leite. Statistics show Pittsburgh was a strong fourth-quarter team, but last night they didn't do it. Let's see if they can do it tonight. Erhard Kapp, low shot. Just missing with Sibbies as he tried to steer it home on a deflection. Sibbies battling with Mepham, but Mepham wins it back to Vaccaro. Tied up at 2. Long throw up the field. John O'Hara blocks it, but it goes into the seats on the play.
I tell you what, I think the Force are really starting to pick up the pressure right now. They seem much more confident, more aggressive than they were early in the game. This is going to be a tough test for the Spirit.
It's nothing like the tying goal to pick you up either. Bernie James and Leite collide. Remember, though, 4 fouls in Pittsburgh and 3 on Cleveland. That should be 4 in Cleveland.
It will be. Casamani doesn't agree, but they get the call, and quickly they put it back into play.
And while he was arguing, Pittsburgh broke up the field. Can't argue after the call is made, or you shouldn't, because those restarts can happen quickly. Chapman sends it back now to the left point. Ali Casamani. Already with more points in his second year than his first. A shot, he almost connected for a big one there.
He split the defense that time, JP, and almost had an open net to shoot at.
Made a nice move. Mepham is blocked by Sibbies. Leite running after the ball, broken up. Bernie James getting there first. Picked off by Klincharsky. Nicky running back the other way. Over that midfield line. To the right side, John O'Hara. Johnny trying to slow things down a little bit. Now on the left wing side, Erhard Kapp takes a shot, and it is blocked out of play. Corner kick coming up here for Pittsburgh, who is playing tonight without Adam Topolsky and Val Tuksha out with some groin problems. They are also playing without Stan Telecki, who started the game and then went out with some ligament problems after he was kicked by Bernie James as he tried to receive the ball. 6 minutes, 34 seconds still to go. Fourth quarter tied at 2. And on the corner kick, Godfrey Ingram.
The fourth quarter can be very, very long, as we found out last night in the Civic Arena.
It seemed like it was about an hour and a half. Godfrey on the set piece to Dudek. He cranks it, but not enough. He kind of miskicked it. Kapp off the boards. Open man Leite, and he missed the net. Ingram off the boards. That goes wide. Another golden opportunity for the Spirit. Now they'll get another one, maybe. Foul zone on the left side for Ingram. Godfrey takes it towards the middle.
Boy, you've got to finish your chances, you know it?
Godfrey cuts right, off the boards, misses. Kapp wants to settle. He's got a good left shot if he can get it. Shoots wide. Godfrey Ingram, nice move to get around his man. chesting it down, but he's broken up by Ward and DeLuca. Long ball, they want Allen. It's too long, and Dudek on his horse to get it.
Well, they're just clearing it out of the zone there. The pressure all by the Pittsburgh Spirit for about 30 seconds.
Let's see if they can continue that. Lethe would love to get another crack at that. He was wide open, and normally with his left foot, he's a lot deadlier than that. He might be a little bit tired. As you mentioned last night, he played a long game and a hard game, and he's had a lot of carpet time tonight. Peter Ward the other way. Looking for Allen. McKenzie knocks it away, but Sweeney was alone for the moment. Pittsburgh allowed him to get that ball. Sweeney knocked away by Falzone, but Dargle is there on a 2-2 tie. Dargle in for Allen. Tackled away by Dudek at the last moment. Dargle gets free, though, in the right corner. Off the boards, blocked by Dudek. Dargle again. Left-footed drive, and that goes into the crowd. 5:20 to go in the fourth quarter. Dead even at 2 goals apiece. What's it going to take? Is it going to be a nice goal, a fluke goal? At this point, as long as Pittsburgh gets it, they won't care whether it's kicked in by a Cleveland player or not.
Well, the thing that you hate to see the good opportunities go by the board, because that's what has happened so many times. If you look ahead to a possible overtime, the Spirit are 0-4 in overtime this year. They've had no luck at all in overtime games.
Who would be looking forward at this point? Valentine the other way to Dennis Meffam. Overtime has become a dirty word, I think, in Pittsburgh, at least in soccer circles. Up the left side comes Casamani. For Valentine, Chapman was open, but he didn't get a good ball. Chapman looking, he's got some help with Casamani and Valentine. Cuts outside off the boards, and Bursic cut it off a deflection.
Valentine wanted a holding call, didn't get it.
Pittsburgh was very lucky that that ball didn't come off a foot faster, or Bursic might not have been able to help himself there.
Dudek is trying to get off, instead he got the ball.
And now he's going to go. Watch it, he may score on it. Long shot punched out by Vaccaro. Helmut says, if I'm going to stay, I'm going to blast it on you. Dennis Meffam the other way, looking long, but you've got a tired Dudek out there against Chapman. Now Valentine going in. Chapman's going to be open, and Valentine can get up. Not even a foul on that. Valentine's going to be asking why not. Kapka now cuts it back to David Bursic. McKenzie trying to run some interference. 4:23 to go. And now finally Dudek gets to the bench and gets a well-deserved breather as O'Hara is on, playing it back to David Bursic. Here's where you hope that frustration doesn't set in, because Pittsburgh has had so many chances to score. Hagen looking for it against Bernie James. Bernie stumbles, recovers though, bangs it off the boards for Andy Chapman. Kapka works to steal and does. Z with a shot off the boards.
Did not get a good bounce, JP. Yeah. He was trying to use the boards because he had a couple men coming down the left side, but he got a high kick off the boards, and that took care of that play.
Well, ball played to the right side for Kapka. In a 2-2 tie out to John O'Hara with 3:45 left in regulation time. O'Hara holding it, playing it for Sibbies. They try to give and go, and the pass isn't there. Child will recover for Pittsburgh, knocking it left point area to Kevin Marr. Marr settling back for Paul Child. Pittsburgh trying to work for a good scoring opportunity. John O'Hara now over the red line. Lets one fly off the boards for Child. Blocked by Bernie James. 2 players battle. Child, great hustle. And kicked away by Chapman, which could have been a dangerous play. Child looks and doesn't even expect it anymore.
They're really letting them play right now. There's going to have to be blood before we get a foul.
And even then there'll be an argument. Up the right side, Marr from O'Hara. Kevin looking to lead Klimcharski with some speed. Nicky just coming off the bench. Off the boards. Scooped up. Nope. Vaccaro can't handle it. Klimcharski again. That's blocked. Nicky again. And then couldn't get off a good shot. It goes out of play. We'll take it to a break. Tied at 2. You're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. Welcome back to the Richfield Coliseum. I'm John Paul Della Camera along with John Sanders, and it's nail-biting time once more. 2:54 left.
Here we go again.
How are your nails? Mine are down to nothing. That's just from the whole season, not this one game. Peter Ward on the right side.
Last night I felt like somebody put bamboo under mine.
Off the boards, look out, Bursic saves. Sweeney is open. The shot stopped by Bursic. Well, if you're going to bite your nails, you'd be quite ready to chew the whole finger off at that one. Helmut Dudek. Bump from behind, but play goes on. 4 fouls on each club.
Can you believe they didn't call a foul on anybody in that mess in the corner? They were calling everything earlier. Now they're not calling anything.
Pittsburgh hasn't had a foul in several minutes, it seems. DeLuca fanning on it, but Dargle is there. Look at the way Cleveland plays it quickly. Up the left wing side for Allen. Allen and Dudek shoulder to shoulder. And crunch. I can't believe that. Oh, now they're calling. Maybe the sound of the boards. Are they calling it on Dudek?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. That's hard to believe. Dangerous play, apparently. Let's see. This is the last flurry with Sweeney. Look how far open he was, John.
Sweeney had so much time he missed the shot.
Trying to pack a lunch. Played out in front. It's blocked.
Keep in mind that's 5 fouls now against the Pittsburgh Spirit. That's a problem with about 2 minutes left.
Ingram plays it up for Leite. That's how they lost the other night against Dallas. They picked up, well, actually, that was a penalty. Here's Leite leading it, blocked by Benny Dargle. Dargle and Leite go forward. Dargle winning it high off the glass. It goes. McKenzie pushing it back for Leite. Marcio's dumped. There's the 5th foul on Cleveland.
Now it's interesting. With 1:47 to play, each team has the 5 fouls. But each team has to play aggressive at this point. It's a 2-2 game.
That's right. They can't be tentative, but they still have to be somewhat careful. Dudek now holding it. Foul zone on with Ingram, McKenzie, and Leite. Godfrey Ingram against Mike Sweeney. Trying to go one-on-one. Goes to the right boards. Off the boards. Headed out by Dargle. McKenzie slams it, but it's right at Chris Vaccaro. Nice idea. Vaccaro throws long for Sweeney. John O'Hara on him. Sweeney sending it back to Peter Ward. 1:25 left in regulation time. McKenzie and Allen after it. It's tied at 2. Mike Sweeney. We may see a few players go to the diving board to try and draw that 6th foul before this one is over if they get a chance. Allen blocked by McKenzie and O'Hara comes in. Johnny's taken down. Up the left wing side, Leite and Dargle. Along the left wing boards, Hagen now coming on. Leite looking for help. Lays it off the foul zone. Hagen trying to get free. 1 minute to go. Foul zone, a shot wide off the boards. Sweeney in foul zone, and Sweeney will win it. Force trying to bring it back. Somebody has a whistle in the stands because I can hear it. The play is moving on. Sweeney up the right side for James. Both teams trying to get out fresh troops. John Popovic yelling out some words to his troops. 38 seconds left in regulation time. He's probably yelling no fouls. Valentine and Chapman. Save David Bursic.
Bursic, what a great save that was.
That could have been game over. Long ball for Child with James in the corner. Child looking. Both players go down. No foul. Casamani with it. Child has hit the deck about 10 times tonight. I don't think he's drawn a foul. Here's Casamani the other way. Over the midfield line, picked up by Falzone. He goes to the outside. Now inside, outside, inside. A shot, save, diving, save by Bursic. 8 seconds left. Up the right side, and at least Pittsburgh won't lose it in regulation time.
I'll tell you again, David Bursic just saved the whole ball game.
Sure he did.
2 saves in a row for Bursic, and we're going to go there one more time. This is our 4th game, JP. Our 3rd overtime is coming up. You're watching Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer. We're going to overtime for the 3rd time in our 4 television games because of a goal that was scored by Peter Ward. It came at 6:59, not quite halfway through. Dargle sets him up. Ward picks it off, moves in, hit the post, and got the good bounce. Got it past David Bursic. Bursic has really been busy. Shots on goal, 41 for the Force, 22 for the Spirit. But David Bursic has just been the man of the hour. Bursic, to this point, as we go into overtime, right here as he takes on and makes a save. A shot made by Andy Chapman, has made 27 saves. He had 29 in that overtime loss to Baltimore. So once again tonight, David Bursic, who had a couple days off, has really been tested. So overtime, the score is 2-2, which is unusual. The fact that they're going to overtime is not unusual because these 2 teams have been to overtime now for 7 times in their last 12 meetings, and we'll see what happens in this overtime period. 15 minutes, first goal wins.
Only going to take 1 goal, and that's it. Helmut Dudek sending it off a flick from Child. Vaccaro's coming out, doesn't get a good kickoff. Along the near board, Sibby's trying to win it. Last night was an unusual overtime. It went so long. But normally overtime ends in the first 5 minutes or so, both in soccer indoors and hockey. Valentine up the right side.
Well, in hockey, you don't have a lot of choice.
No, that's right. Hockey is normally 5, right?
Yeah.
But it usually ends real quick.
It does, you're right.
Dennis Mefflin.
Not always painlessly, though, I'll tell you that.
Playing it in, knocked away by Dudek. Valentine to Kapka. And then played back to David Bursic, who looked very sharp, as John Sanders was saying at the end of that quarter. Kept the Spirit hopes alive. Sibby's trying to break a lot of jinxes tonight, including one in overtime. To McKenzie on the left. Picked up by Andy Chapman. Back along the boards, tackled away, but Kapka is there. Z looking for Child. Bernie James coming right out to get him. Child leaves it off for Z.
Bernie and Paul know each other very well.
Kapka to the right boards. Off the boards. Loose ball. Comes out for Sibby. In along the near side. Leaves it off for Kapka. 2-2 tie and 7th overtime. It's reversed to Helmut Dudek. Helmet bothered by Chapman, not enough. Helmet blasted. Look at that. That could have knocked the shoulder out of place in the front of Vaccaro. Look out for Cleveland coming back on the right side. Chapman blocked by Z. Kapka. And now they're going to call a foul.
What is that, a foul? You haven't seen one of those in about 10 minutes.
I recognize the signal. They're calling a holding. Here's a Dudek shot coming up, which could separate a shoulder.
This will wake you up, I guarantee you. Obviously, Chris Vaccaro's already awake because he's faced that shot before in the game.
What they're complaining about Pittsburgh is that Kapka would have been able to go somewhere had they not called a foul. They wanted the advantage rule call. Kevin Marr to the right. Now to John O'Hara. Both teams got to be a little bit tired here. Off the boards. Vaccaro knocking it to the near side. Klinczarski is there. Right side to John O'Hara. Very cautious on the part of both teams right now. Pittsburgh with the ball. Attacking left to right. John O'Hara, team captain, still with it. For Klinczarski to Child. Leaving it for Nicky. Broken up by Bernie James. Klinczarski going after. James fakes. Now blows by Klinczarski with just brute strength. Long ball. Klinczarski blocks it. 3-on-3 for the Spirit coming back. Godfrey Ingram running hard down the right side. Into the corner with Mepham. Godfrey had Child open, couldn't quite hit him. Tried to bang it to him off the boards. Child after it. Now knocks it all the way back to John O'Hara at the Spirit red line. O'Hara looking. 2-2 tie. Lowest scoring game that the Spirit have had in quite some time. Played up for Klinczarski.
What is this, 3 overtime games in a row now for the Spirit, right?
In Dallas.
It'll be their 4th consecutive one-goal game, as a matter of fact, too. One way or the other.
Klinczarski to Godfrey Ingram. Marking him is Dennis Mepham. Leite trying to point out which way he's going to go. Now to Klinczarski on the left side. Earhart Cap tying it to sudden death overtime. Earhart wants the boards. Afterwards, Leite scores in overtime. And the Pittsburgh Spirit have finally won it. In sudden death overtime, you could see where Earhart Cap was going to go. From that distance, he's not going to shoot it from that angle towards goal. He's going to play it off the boards. He did. Leite, who had a chance to end it before in regulation time, before actually Cleveland tied it, ends up scoring the game-winning goal. And John Sanders, that breaks a overtime streak, a television losing streak, a road losing streak, and a losing streak here in Cleveland.
Well, I'll tell you what it takes care of. We'll run them all down. Marcio Leite being congratulated. You see the play of Earhart Cap. He brings it in. He goes past Craig Allen, uses the board. Marcio's there with that left foot. He got past and behind Dennis Mepham to score the winning goal. The Spirit win it in overtime 3-2. We have ended a 15-game television losing streak, thanks to Marcio. 11 games in a row on the road. They had not won on the road since March 11th, 1985. A 5-game losing streak in this building, a 4-game losing streak overall. We are tied with the Force at 7-7. Who knows? Could be back in second place before this night is over. But I'm telling you this, I am delighted to have the monkey off the back of television and off of these road games.
I'm tired of taking the blame. You know, Marcio said before the game to say Feliz Natal to the Brazilian viewers, and I guess that's in his native tongue. And I said, Marcio, only if you score 2 goals will I say that. But I think this qualifies because he took the monkey off our backs, and here it is again. Leite with that killer left foot will score the goal, and for Marcio Leite, it is his 5th goal of the year, but his biggest one of the 85-86 season. And that gives us a good note to end our TV schedule for this portion of the season. We'll see it again on television in January.
And Earhart Cap, his first point of the season, gets the game-winning assist. In overtime, the Spirit beat the Force 3-2. For John Paul Della, I'm John Sanders. Yes, the Spirit broke the jinx tonight on Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer.
Number the Force.
Pittsburgh Spirit Soccer has been brought to you by Stroh's, America's Fire Brewed Beer. By Burger King, home of the bigger and better Whopper. Aren't you hungry for Burger King now? By Mellon Bank, a neighbor you can count on. And by Cameron Coca-Cola Bottling Company. We've got a taste for you. Coke. The executive producer of Spirit Soccer is Bill Strong.